Hi, this is Monica A. Coleman, and I am a theology professor and the author of the forthcoming book, Bipolar Faith, A Black Woman's Journey with Depression. And I am giving Periscope a try for a week because I have friends who do really cool stuff on Periscope, and I'm trying to get down with the program. And this is called Bipolar Faith, and it's a chance for me to share a bit about one of the things I get asked the most. And what I get asked more than anything else is, what are my spiritual practices? And what do I do to live with and manage living with a bipolar condition? I see you, Dr. Tama. I see you, Obafemi, and thank you for joining me. I was last on the bike trail, one of my first Periscopes, and one of the things I talked about was how cycling is really important for me, and exercise is really important for me. Even when I think it's optional, it's really not. And I realized that I had a really tougher ride than I needed to have because my shoes weren't right. And the shoes I wear when it's a little chillier outside, the clips weren't adjusted right. And so it's when I put my foot on the bike, it just doesn't quite ride right. And it makes it more difficult. And I don't have the little tool you need to adjust my shoes. And so I thought, wow, what does that say about even how I'm living? Do I have the right equipment? Do I have the right tools that I need to live successfully? Hello, those who are joining. And I didn't. And I think that sometimes I had to kind of reassess, do I have the right tools I need to live with a mental health challenge, to live with a depressive condition? And I felt like, wow, I don't, and always need to. So I need to assess that. And sometimes I do have the right ones. Oh, thank you. D. Tellerate, I think that's how I pronounce your name. And do I have the right tools? Do I have the right things in place? Do I have my therapist, my psychiatrist, my friends? Do I have the right practices to make sure that I'm doing okay? And I realized with my shoe, I didn't. I have a lot of the right gear for cycling. I have the right shirts and the right bike, but I'm really not where I need to be in terms of my repair gear, which people always fuss at me about. So I'm thinking, wow, I need to do better with that. And I think the same is true for me in terms of mental health challenges. So what did I do? I went to the bike shop and got my gear. So I could show you my shoe in case you care deeply about my shoe. This is my shoe, and these are the clips, and I use it so I can have a better ride, and I can slide into the bike and have more control and work out my muscles the best way that I can. And once I gave it a good hard look, I realized it's just an Allen wrench. It's not really a special tool, but I didn't have the right size Allen wrench. I had these little Allen wrenches at home. So I went out and got a bike wrench. Any Allen wrench of a certain size will do, but this one will give me the right grip I need to adjust my shoes. Then I realized, of course, that there was all this dirt. Hello, those of you who are joining us, Wilburson 1507, thank you. I didn't have the right, there was dirt just stuck in my shoe. And that I had to clean out the shoe and soak it and get all the dirt and pry it out just so I could even insert this tool so I can adjust the shoe. And I'm beginning to also think more and more, do I have the right self-care techniques? Do I have the right equipment for what's important for me to be well? And it's different for everybody, right? There's some things that are true for a lot of people. So one of the things that's really missing right now in terms of the equipment I need to be healthy and to be well is sufficient sleep, which I will talk more about at some point. There are many really wonderful books and testimonies about how mothering a young child is like the opposite of what is great for living with depression. That sleep disruption and draining of your energy and sometimes your body and your hormones really do make some things more difficult, and that's part of what happens with biological motherhood. And so, and this is not a biological motherhood issue now. My child is not an infant, but sleeping through the night is still not quite where we are. She's at this appropriate developmental stage where she gets scared at night. And so she wakes up and wants her mommy, and she wakes me up. And there goes my nice, happy REM sleep. And so I'm really trying to get that back in my toolbox. Trying to get the enough sleep back in my toolbox is one thing. But I do have some really good friends, and that's a really big part of how I live successfully. So maybe I'm thinking this is kind of like looking around, seeing, do I have what I need? Do I have the right gear? Do I have repair gear? Because sometimes you have to make adjustments. Like my shoes are okay. They're great shoes. They're quality shoes. They just need to be adjusted. I need to adjust the clips. And so, what needs adjusting in my life? Like, what am I going to have to adjust so I can get more sleep? What am I going to have to adjust so I can take a bit more care? Is there some kind of equipment I don't have that I really need to make sure is in my kind of toolbox, so to say, to be well? So I'm going to think on that and hopefully get back to you all tomorrow or the next day about what I've done or what I'm going to do to make sure I can get some more sleep and continue to take care of myself. But I think a lot of times people think I have these really elaborate spiritual practices because I teach religion or because I write about being faithful and living with depressive conditions. And I don't. I don't have this amazing prayer life where I pray on the floor for hours. Hi, Ashley and Elise. Thank you for joining us. I don't meditate because if I close my eyes too long, I fall asleep. Although I think meditation is great. You know, when I'm in my faith community, I'm also running around after a toddler most of the time. So, hi, Top Croc 1. Thank you for joining us. I don't do anything particularly holy. I just do regular stuff, I guess. And so I make that holy. The ordinary things become really holy and sacramental for me. And I just try and keep track of those things. And then some days I'm like, look, God, you're here, I'm here. That's about as good as it gets. And that's my faith right now, is that I think that you're paying attention to me, and let's just start over again tomorrow. So there are a lot of days like that. And I'll check in when I'm having those kind of days too. So right now I'm going to make some adjustments. I have the right tools finally. I think it will make a big difference to have the clips in the right place, because sometimes things just move around, your legs change, you grow. Well, at my age, I might be shrinking. You might need to stretch out some more, and you just need to make some adjustments for things to work better. So I think that's a big part of what happens. And so I'm talking about adjustments today. I might be talking about adjustments for a couple days in terms of what it means to live faithfully with bipolar. Hi, Gasper Jimenez 8. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to try and figure out how to do this Periscope thing and try a regular time. And if you're looking for me, look for me on Twitter at Monica A. Coleman. You can find me on Instagram, where you'll see lots of pictures of vegan food, because a diet is a big part of how I manage things. And if you found this helpful, just hit hashtag bipolar faith. And I'm going to find a way to put this on YouTube so you can see it later if you missed the replay. So again, this is Monica A. Coleman. I'm the author of the forthcoming book, Bipolar Faith, and I teach theology, and I'm based in Los Angeles, California. Thank you all so much for joining, and I hope I get to see you again.